Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and another BYD review. So this time we are going to dive another BYD base model. This time we are in the eMax 7 standard. So this has the bench seat option at the rear. As you can see, ADN 1011 is there at the back. So space there and all that is very good. If I were going to get an eMax, this is the eMax that I would get because I don't want the captain seat since I'm the one going to be driving most of the time. Now, pairing this is also a bit different. So this one has a smaller 55 kilowatt hour battery. Hump test first. Okay, pretty the same like with the superior top-of-the-line model. You have a 55 kilowatt-hour battery that produces 163 horsepower and 310 newton meters of torque. It's down on power, but it has the same amount of torque. However, since again, it's the smaller battery, it has a little bit of less weight. 95 kilograms to be exact, which is still pretty drastic. And you have an acceleration time from 0 to 100 in under 10.1 seconds, which is still pretty zippy, I guess, having just driven the Seal Advance. So let's see on how this will perform on and off track, because I'm very curious on how this will perform on the proving ground since I've driven a lot of MPVs here at the Autofocus Test Drive Festival. And this being the eMax, you have a ground clearance of 170 millimeters, which is on par with the rest of the MPVs, both EVs, hybrids, and MPVs. Well, actually, this eMax 7 is the first of its kind here in the Philippines, since this is the only 7-seater MPV electric vehicle too. Being an MPV, the boot space is still pretty good at 180 liters with all of the seats down, and it maximizes to 980 liters once you fold all of the seats down. And here in the interior, it's pretty identical to with the Superior. And what I said to like before, you have the analog power and speedometer, and then you have a digital display right in the middle which shows all of your important information. And here in the steering wheel, you have tilt and telescopic functions along too with your cruise control functions as well. And you have 3 driving modes here around in the gear selector, so there's numerous buttons here. And toggle this switch, you have eco, normal, and sport mode only. And despite to being a base model, which is a signature to all BYDs, you have a rotating screen, but you only can operate it here on the steering wheel itself. But hey, at least it still works. And this being only the base model, you only have a top-down 360-degree view camera, but still the resolution of it is pretty good. And still you have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and the complete usual BYD vehicle. And here, just driving just around in the queue here of the proving grounds, yeah, like all BYDs, there's no pumped-in audio whatsoever, so it gives a nice natural feel here into the cabin. And just wait for this cue, let's go to the on-road course. That's a very cool indicator sound. Anyway, so here now, finally on the open road, so let's just leave it now in normal mode and see how this performs. Right, so at the low end, it feels more or less the same like with the Superior top-of-the-line variant, but immediately I can tell the weight. It feels a little bit more zippier at low end, and here at a fast bend, you can feel a bit of body room, but it's pretty much given in this category of all the MPVs, and just slightly better since this is just a bit lighter than that of the Superior variant. But still, even though it says 10.1 seconds of acceleration time, it's still pretty fast. Like there, off the line, whee! Remember that is just normal mode. So there's just a sport mode later on once the traffic clears up. And the rest here, you get the same brown leather seats and all that, and cup holders, central armrest. But again, the only difference you can tell is the bench seats at the rear. And as well, like most BYDs, you only get 2 regions for your braking system. So here, larger, foot off the brake. So it feels like more or less a level 2 kind of braking. And here, sport mode. Oops! Yeah, things with EV vehicles, yeah, it's very torquey. Wow. Right, more or less the same performance at the bottom end compared with that of the Superior top-of-the-line variant. Whee! Yeah. And here, U-turn test. Brakes is pretty good too, despite being a heavy MPV and all that. So, yeah, in sport mode, you'll tend to skid your tires a lot since you have 310 Newton meters of torque on the top. Not bad, this base model. Yet the Superior has like an acceleration time of around 8 seconds or even like some 7.5 seconds, even as fast as the Seal Advance. But this one, I think it's just a little bit faster. But I think around in the higher end of the speed, yeah, you can feel it's running out of breath. Another main difference too with this base model, wait, just keep it quiet at the moment, you only get manual adjustments for the seats since the Superior has all electronic. And also, well, being a smaller battery at 55 kilowatts, remember, 55 kilowatt hours rather, this has a range of only 420 kilometers compared to the 530 of the top of the line model. But I would say that is still not too bad because the range is exactly the same what you get in the base Atuto, if not mistaken. But I've driven a lot of EVs recently, so 420 kilometers of range is still pretty decent. And overtaking in this, yeah, it's pretty much easy. And foot off the brake, just demonstration purposes. Yes, you can feel the region braking at larger now doing its thing. So if we swap it to standard, then foot off brake, there, it's not doing that much. But I think that is a good thing. So it's not as intrusive compared like with the rest of the EVs that I've tried out. So we're done here on the on-road course. Time to head on to the proving grounds. Usually in the proving ground, leave it in e-sport mode. And let's go. Not bad. So I've driven a lot of MPVs here in this proving ground. It seems to do the job. Of course, the low-end torque is better than the others that I tried out since they were combustion engines. But for an EV, good handling too, even though the feedback is kind of light and all that. But still very, very good for an EV. That's what you have to watch out for. In reverse, yeah, the torque is still sudden. Whee! Right. So that concludes my test drive review of this eMax 7 standard base model. Now, for the cost of all of this, this is why I wanted to drive this in the first place. This one stands at a whopping 1,498,000 pesos, which I think is a steal for this electric vehicle. So that concludes my test drive review of this eMax 7. So again, I'd like to thank all the folks there at BYD Cars Philippines and to Sir Ali
Rapadas po.
There you go, of BYD Manila Bay. So hope you guys like and subscribe. And thanks again behind the camera, show yourself, of Adrian1011. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you with more test dives here at the Autofocus Test Dive Festival. Bye-bye.